Hey guys, welcome back to Sarcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan Chambers. Welcome to the show. Before we get into today's show, we got to say thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor. Use that promo code THPN the next time you go and use their services. We appreciate them being our sponsor of this episode, and all of THPN. We have a very special episode for you guys today. We're gonna have to push everything off. There's been so much that has been going on NHL news wise, but we're gonna push that off today because we have a very special guest. He is a product of Kamloops, British Columbia. He's won gold medals with Team Canada at the 2019 Under 18 World Championships, as well as the 2022 and 2023 World Juniors, and he was the WHL Player of the Year in 2022 alongside the CHL Player of the Year as well. He was drafted by the Stars in the second round, 47th overall back in 2021. We have Mr. Logan Stankoven. Logan, we really appreciate you spending your time with us here tonight. How are you doing?
Yay.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so we're going to get into a little bit of things, but before we even talk about anything else, I just want you to understand like how excited Stars fans are for you. we have heard so many good things about you. Obviously, we've seen the things that you do on the ice, but also because of the award you even received today, because of your character off the ice as well. So we're really, really excited for you to really be a member of this organization and as your professional career gets started. So, Chris, do you want to start with the first question?
Yeah, sure. Ryan said it. We've been excited for you ever since you've been drafted. Been following you for about 2 years. You had an exceptional junior career, going all the way to the finals in the WHL. So just as you look back on your junior career, what kind of are you most proud of that you did there? We talked about you were on the Kamloops Blazers, you're captain of that team, and all the stuff that you did in World Juniors. Just what's kind of the things that stick out most to you as you look back on your junior career?
I think just the winning culture. Myself and my teammates were able to build there. I spent 4 or 5 seasons there, and it was just special to play in my hometown. I think we had 4 BC division titles, and I guess that's something to be pretty proud of. And just met so many great people over these past few years within the organization, and I just can't thank the Blazers enough for all they've done for me.
Yep, definitely a winning culture around the Blazers for sure. Every time I started following them on Twitter after you got drafted by the Stars, just every time I look it up, it's just win, win, win. Logan Stankoven scored. Logan Stankoven 3 points. So definitely a winning culture there. But as you talk about the juniors and kind of the winning culture you created, that's kind of not a thing down here in the South. So we've got the Stars, we've got the Texas Stars, a couple of ECHL teams, but junior hockey is not really a thing here, and it's huge in Canada. Can you kind of talk to that a little bit and talk to the Memorial Cup that you were in recently too?
Yeah, I guess with you guys being down south, you don't really have junior hockey. So, it means a lot to the smaller communities here, the smaller towns. You kind of really rally around, the junior hockey team if you have a team. You see lots of people around the rink. It's a close-knit hockey community. So, I think it was just pretty cool to play in my hometown and have success, and then to get to host Memorial Cup. Obviously disappointing that we didn't finish off the greatest, but just to experience that as a whole was really cool.
Absolutely. I've heard it kind of described as similar to like high school football or college football here. Would you say that's a fair comparison?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not as passionate. I heard it's pretty passionate down there, but some teams, just great fan bases over here, and they're proud of their teams, and they love winning. So,
of course.
So, can you talk a little bit about what it was like being able to play for your hometown? Because I know that not a lot of players actually get the opportunity to do that, and I read Saad Yousef's article that he did with you when he met up with you up in Kamloops several months ago now. And I saw, and just reading through the article, it felt like you really cared about your community up there in Kamloops and they reciprocated it and fully embraced you. So can you talk about just like how much like that whole city means to you, and how much they love you, I guess?
Yeah, I think just being born here and being a Blazers fan when I was younger, and yeah, I'd go to so many games as a kid, and just lots of great memories as a fan. And then once I was drafted in the WHL by the Blazers, that was a dream come true. Just being able to live at home, and yeah, I never thought things would turn out this well. And so many great things have happened over the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, the community means a lot to me, and just leaving a positive legacy was something that I kind of really wanted to focus on this last year here with the Blazers, and not only on the ice, but I think off the ice too. Just being a great leader and human is important too.
Yep, absolutely done that for sure.
So I'm just assuming, because I saw your Instagram post where it kind of seemed like you're ready to go pro here. So, but what I do want to ask you about though is looking back at your junior career and your time in Kamloops, what's something that you're like the most proud of, or what was your favorite moment being a Blazer?
Definitely Memorial Cup, and I'd say just playoffs. We had a lot of success. These last couple of years, obviously COVID kind of wrecked a couple seasons there, so I wasn't able to play playoffs as a 16-year-old and 17-year-old. But yeah, the last two seasons as 18 and 19-year-old, we went really far. weren't able to make it all the way to the finals, but lost in the Western Conference Finals, and just lots of key games and key moments that kind of I like to relive sometimes in my head, and just leaves a good taste in my mouth and something that you can look back on down the road.
Yeah. And I'm definitely jumping the gun on the show notes and maybe a little bit in the career, but how important do you think that playoff success for you in juniors could be going forward into a career in the pros? Like you said, Dallas has, I'm sure you saw, had a very successful playoffs this season. Just couldn't get over the final hump at the end. How important do you think that could be for your career moving forward?
Yeah, I think just realizing that it's a race to 4 wins. So you can't expect to win every single game, and you're never out of it until someone wins that fourth game. A great example was the Dallas and Vegas series. Vegas went up 3-0, and Dallas battled back and made it a really close series right till the end. So yeah, you never know, and you can't kind of take your foot off the pedal, because lots of good teams, and it's the little details that matter at that time.
I'm still a little salty about that series. I hate overtime games for that reason. It's like they could have gone so close, but it is what it is. So okay, so let me ask you a little bit about just kind of your impression of Dallas as a hockey market, because it is a quote unquote non-traditional hockey market, even though we've been around for about 30 years now. But when you got drafted, what was your outside perspective as a player? And then I guess just as a silly question, just like, did you know anything about Texas before you got drafted by the Stars?
Yeah, actually, I was in Texas. Plano and Frisco hosted the U18s, so I was there at the Comerica Center, or I think it's called the Dr. Pepper Center now. But yeah, the Stars practice facility there. So yeah, I got a good feel for I guess just the surroundings and the facilities they have there. So it was a really cool experience just being able to play in a different country during COVID, where there wasn't much hockey going on over in back home in Canada. So yeah, it was nice just to go there, and then next I'm drafted by them. So it was nice to have a good feel for what it was like down there before I was drafted.
Were you surprised at all when you first went down there? Because I mean, saying that you're going to go play U18s in Texas kind of seems off the wall a little bit.
Yeah, I think just how humid it is and hot sometimes.
Oh yeah,
it's hot here in Kamloops during the summers, but nothing compared to what Dallas is like. I was there last summer for the development camp, and yeah, I remember just going to, I think it was the Dallas FC, one of the soccer games, and I think it was like 40 plus degrees. I guess it would be Fahrenheit for you guys, whatever it is, but just like insane heat and just constant sweating. But I'd rather have the heat than the cold for sure.
Nice. Good thing to want when you're coming from Canada to Texas.
Yeah.
The weather is a lot different up down
For
here
sure.
in Texas. So, so I guess one of the things we also wanted to ask you about is how would you describe yourself as a player? Because I mean, we can sit here and talk about, you know, he's like this player or such and such player, but how would you describe yourself as a player? And then what do you pride yourself the most in when it comes to your game?
I'd probably say like my motor and my energy on the ice. I like to play with lots of pace and kind of try and push the play as much as possible. I really try and use my vision as one of my strengths, and I think my first few steps are definitely a strength for me, just first step quickness. So yeah, it'd be nice to kind of round out my game with some other things that I'm going to continue working on here during the summer and moving forward with pro hockey.
Love that answer. Very cool.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. I'm going to ask the one that you were going to ask, but whatever.
Yep.
We're going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit, but looking at this upcoming season, a lot of Stars fans are really hoping you're going to be on the starting roster come October 12th. So what do you think you got to do to camp during camp to get there?
I think try and like make a difference. I thought I got in my first few preseason games. Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. Can't expect to make the roster, and you're never going to be given a spot. So I think just making sure that I'm doing the little things right, whether I'm on the wing or at center, whatever it may be, being open to what the coaches have to say, and just leaving a lasting impression so that I can make it hard on the coaches to make that decision to send me down, because I'd just love to be in Dallas, and if not, then obviously down in Austin, Texas has a great team too.
Yeah, love that mindset. What do you think was the biggest difference between like juniors playoffs versus even just NHL preseason?
Just the physical strength, right? With lots of those guys are full grown men now, and it's physical hockey, so you got to keep your head up and make fast plays. So I thought that was the biggest difference was speed a little bit, and then just the strength of the guys. So going to try and get a little bit heavier and faster this off season.
Sweet.
I'm really curious about this question because it doesn't look like it, but all of us Chambers boys, we're all really short. All right, like we're like 5'5", 5'6", if we're lucky. Hey,
I'm 5'9".
Yeah, you're 5'9".
I'm 5'7" now.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just the only one under 5'5". But what I wanted to ask you about is, and I don't think it's fair. I'll just go straight out and tell you this. I think you know where this is going, but some people are discussing that when it comes to transitioning into the NHL, that size can be an issue. And I fully disagree with that. You're 5'8", you're on the smaller side. Again, I think that's a stupid term. But what do you say to those people who say that? Like, I mean, how can you discount what they're saying and say what and kind of tell them that what they're saying is stupid?
I think it's just something that you can't control, right? So it's out of your hands. You can only control what you do on the ice and how you treat people around you. So I think at the end of the day, it's for being a smaller guy, you just have to be a little bit quicker, a little bit faster on pucks, be a little bit stronger than everyone, and that's something I'm fine with. And I've always been a smaller guy throughout my whole life, so it's nothing really new to me. But obviously at the next level, it's a lot bigger guys, so I'm gonna have to be prepared for that and make sure that I keep my head up. But yeah, I think it's just about how much you want it and how much heart you have can be the key difference as well.
And there's plenty of guys in the NHL nowadays that are again, quote unquote, some of the smaller guys like Alex DeBrincat. He's gonna get paid here soon. And I mean, Cole Caulfield up in Montreal is ridiculous. I think he's 5'6" maybe. And I just think it's cool to see those kind of guys really go out there and really succeed in this league.
Yeah.
So
I think that's just kind of the way the NHL is going too. I mean, it's getting faster, it's getting quicker. I love what you said about your strength being in your first 2 steps. I mean, that quickness and the explosiveness is really kind of where the NHL is going. I mean, that seems to be what most teams are looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so what I wanted to ask, actually, this is not my question. This is actually somebody from Twitter, and I thought it was really interesting. This is at Frozen Prince 14 on Twitter, and he's asking, what player are you most excited about the possibility of playing with? Whether that's in the NHL and the AHL, somewhere within the Stars organization. What player are you most excited to play with?
That's tough. There's so many good players. I mean, yeah, just be grateful to be on the team. But I think maybe like Rupe Hintz or yeah, maybe like Jamie Benn would be pretty cool. Even Wyatt, I've known Wyatt for a really long time, and he had a really successful season. So that'd be cool to play with him too. But I'd just be happy to be on the team. And I mean, at that point, I don't really care who I play with. I think it's just being grateful for the opportunity.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely a good first step to get to, is get on the team first. And you spoke about Wyatt. We also know that you're pretty good buddies with Matthew Seminoff, who we also had on the podcast, who the Stars also drafted. So what was that like playing with a good buddy there in Kamloops, and kind of what's your relationship with him like?
Yeah, we're really close. I've known Semi for quite a few years now, and just growing up, yeah, he's not far from me. He lives down in Vancouver, which is about 3-4 hour drive. And yeah, we grew up playing minor hockey against each other, and spring hockey as well. So he's really developed over these past few years into a great player. And yeah, once we were drafted to the Blazers together, we've kind of grown up together, and yeah, we've roomed lots together at camps and stuff. And yeah, and now we're both drafted to Dallas, so it's pretty ironic.
Yep, pretty cool.
And there's actually, you mentioned Wyatt Johnston there a second ago, and there's actually another person on Twitter. It's at Tim Sturdivant too. Some of these people got some weird names. Anyways,
almost like Stankoven.
Well, Wyatt, he set the bar pretty high for a rookie. I don't think we knew he was going to be good, but we did not expect a 20-goal season out of him. Just the on the offensive side of the game, and even on the defensive side of the game, which is probably the hardest thing for a lot of younger players like yourself to learn. And he set that bar really high. So for yourself, what would be a realistic expectation for yourself for a successful rookie season for you?
Oh, that's a hard question.
And it doesn't have to be like points, like I'm gonna score 20 goals or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
I don't have points on my mind. I think like what you said about the defensive game. I think for me being if I have the chance to play in this year as a first year player, I think it's just about focusing on my defensive game and making sure that if I can kind of keep the puck out of my net when I'm on the ice, then you're doing your job, and then hopefully the offense can come after that. So you got to be trusted in your own zone to be put out there, and then just kind of do your thing on offense.
All right. Well, we got a couple of other questions here for you. They're more like what did you call them earlier, Chris?
They're less serious.
Less serious of nature. Nothing super serious, but And I don't know why the Stars fandom is absolutely obsessed with this question. All right, so I apologize. But this was at Bubbly Halsey LRH. Again, funky name. But she writes, I know you mentioned wanting to possibly room with Wyatt Johnson. I didn't know you had done that. But if Johnny ends up staying with Pavelski, who would your ideal roommate be? I don't know why they're all obsessed with it, but they are.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question. I've no clue. I'd have to make the team first and then figure all that stuff out later. But
There you go.
yeah, doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah. We got like 4 of those, so we had to ask it.
Yeah, I like no joke. There was about 3 or 4 people that asked us. So.
All right. Other question. Other than the Blazers, which you already mentioned, what was kind of the NHL team that you mainly followed?
Well, growing up, it was Montreal and Pittsburgh, just because Montreal. My dad was a big Habs fan, so his whole family. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and his 2 older brothers both played hockey, and yeah, big Habs fans. So I was kind of born into it. Didn't really have much of a choice, and then I just really liked Pittsburgh because of Crosby. I think just the way he carries himself off the ice and what he does in the community. It's pretty cool to see. And then obviously, all the accolades and whatever else he's done. It's just it's cool to see. So yeah, it'd be really cool to hopefully play against him someday before he retires. So yeah.
Safe to say he's your hockey role model, probably?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely the guy I watched growing up. But yeah, obviously it's all Stars now. So
there you go.
Well, I'm just gonna give you some hope that the dude doesn't seem to be slowing down. I mean, he's ridiculous. He's what 36 or 37 now, and he scored almost 100 points this past season. It's just ridiculous what he can do.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you. This is more of a personal question for me because one of my favorite moments in hockey history. I'm gonna ask yours here in a second, but like my absolute favorite hockey moment in history is when Ray Bourque got to raise the Stanley Cup. That was just the coolest moment for me. I still go back even now and think like the guy played for 20 plus seasons and he finally gets to lift it when he's like in his 40s. It took him that long. And then also the way Gary Thorne kind of commentated on that was so cool. Is there one moment in hockey history that you can think of? Maybe it's a personal one that you were involved in or just something else. What was like a big moment in hockey history that you love?
I think the 2010 Olympic gold medal game where Canada beat the U.S. and obviously Crosby, favorite player
I'm still
growing
salty
up,
about
scored
that.
the winning goal. And yeah, I'm sure you guys aren't probably too happy about it. But for me, being a Canadian, that was like one of the best days ever, for me being a younger kid. I remember while the game was going on, I think we were at like a friend's house and everyone was just packed around the TV, and whenever there'd be a commercial, we'd be playing mini sticks or whatever and mini hockey. And then as soon as the game would be on, we'd just be glued to the screen. And then, yeah, once he scored that winning goal, it was just chaos. And yeah, it was just a huge celebration, even in Kamloops here. It was, yeah, just really special.
Yeah, that's got to be the coolest goal ever scored in international hockey. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially recently, but for Americans, it's definitely in 1980, the Miracle on Ice. But
yeah,
I can imagine that it was as equivalently important for Canadians when Crosby scored that goal. It was a great game too. That was the other thing. It wasn't just like a blowout or anything. It was just a great game all around.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So maybe like last question here. You just got back from Italy, and we were just curious and wondering what's like your favorite vacation you've ever been on, or like your favorite city that you've ever visited?
I've been to a lot of different places, just with hockey too. A lot of trips with hockey. So I'd probably say Cancun when I was younger. That was a fun trip with my family. I've been to New York and Philly for a hockey tournament. So yeah, before the tournament started in Philly, my family and I got to go to New York and kind of tour around for a bit. And then yeah, definitely recently, like going to Italy was just unbelievable. So the food and the scenery, just yeah, it's a different world over there for sure. It's yeah, different lifestyle, and I definitely want to go back someday.
Yep. Couple more non-hockey questions, but what are some hobbies that you're into other than hockey? If you're coming to Dallas, it's for sure golf's gonna have to be one of them. So
Yeah, I golf. I haven't had much time. Quick turnaround. We played late into the season, and then yeah, I went to Italy, so I didn't golf there. But I love golfing. Got into it during COVID, so that's probably one of my hobbies. I like playing ping pong. That's fun. Yeah, I'd probably say those are the two.
nice. And then the last one we have, you got to watch one movie or show on repeat for the rest of your life. What would it be?
I'd probably say Miracle. I love that movie. Obviously,
Yes.
good hockey movie. And then Moneyball. I really like that too.
Yes.
Oh, that's a
Two
good one.
movies.
Yeah.
I watched both of those like at least 8 times.
Yeah. I've seen both those, yeah, like 5 or 6 times already. So never get bored of them.
Well, we don't want to keep you any longer. We know that you actually told us before we got on air that you still got to go pack for development camp that's coming up, and you're leaving tomorrow. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going here, talk about some Dallas Stars news. But Logan, seriously, dude, you have no idea how ecstatic we were when you agreed to do this. We
Yes.
appreciate everything that you did and your time that you spent with us, and we're really rooting for you to make the team. And have fun at development camp, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Logan. Good luck, man.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Absolutely really cool. And whew, okay, now I can actually breathe a little bit. It's not like he was like, oh, it's Logan Stankoven, but it's just so cool that he was willing to even give us a little bit of his time to come on here and kind of talk with us about all of this stuff. So I mean, what was y'all's takeaway from just talking to him? What did y'all think?
Yeah, just him talking to us. Community means a lot to him, meant a lot to him in Kamloops. He's trying to start it here in Dallas too. I mean, great player, obviously a great guy. I mean, we're lucky that he's on the Stars.
Yeah, seriously, I can't imagine another guy who, especially character-wise, I even forgot what award he won. Actually, today he literally won it today. It was like
it's a great person award.
Yes, a great person award, basically. Yes. So
yeah,
go ahead, James.
And not only that, like. He's probably gonna make the team. It's like for us, it's like almost not a question. He's
right.
He's gonna make the team, but I mean, you're still in that mindset. I'm not on the team till I'm on the team, and it's a great mindset.
That's a good point. That is actually a very good point, James.
That was probably my favorite part of the interview that he said. He's like, it's my job to make it really hard for them to keep me off the team, and that's the exact mindset you want a guy like that. Just. I love seeing that mental side that he's got going on in his brain. That's exactly what you want from a guy like that.
He played on the first line with Connor Bedard in the World Juniors. Like,
yeah,
the dude's probably gonna make the NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't even know where to start, you guys. I mean, I guess we can save the whole NHL news for later. But it's like everyone. Like nothing was happening really on Sunday. Monday, everybody had the awards and was like traveling down to Nashville, and then boom, trade Tuesday.
Everything happened.
I guess everything happened, and it's continued into today. Not as much as yesterday, but it's ridiculous. But so let's sort of kind of focus on the Stars a little bit, and maybe a little bit with kind of the Central Division. The Central Division was the most active of the 4 divisions going into today. But let's start with some fun news. Evgeny Dodonov, daddy is back, baby. He resigns with the Dallas Stars. He goes for 2 years at $2.25 million. That is absolutely a great contract for the Stars. I think for Dodonov, if I'm kind of analyzing this too much, I think he understood at this point in his career that fit is really important to him. And he fit really well on that third line, second line, whatever you want to call it, the Johnston Benn line. And he was a perfect third component to that line. So how did y'all feel about, I know there's other stuff that we'll talk about here with the signing and what that means for other players, but talk specifically about Dodonov and how excited we are that he's back.
Yeah, really good for Cap. Like you said, he fit just so good with Ben and Johnston. That line was one of the more consistent lines when they were together. So yeah, definitely think that's a good signing. Great job by Jim Nill. And we still got some room to get a defenseman.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for me was what he did in the playoffs. I mean, he had 4 goals, 6 assists in 16 games in the playoffs. He had a great playoffs. Is the reason, one of the main reasons why we got out of the first round.
Yep, and we've seen older players who maybe didn't have the regular season production do that in the playoffs as well. I mean, the guy I think is Vern Fiddler, who is not an offensive threat at all in the playoffs, and shows up and he's fantastic. So definitely think a guy like that is a huge thing to have in the playoffs.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit more of the negative effects with this signing or what it means. Unfortunately, what it means is that that Dodonov is actually, I think David Pagnotta actually of the fourth period kind of confirmed it. Domi will not be returning, and neither will Luke Glendening, which really sucks for both of the players. I've come to really appreciate Luke Glendening and what he does for this team. When it comes to the faceoff circle, he's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. And then also on the penalty kill side, he was constantly making plays when it came to the penalty kill. So that's unfortunate to really see.
Yeah. And I like Glendening as well. He's a great player. I loved having him for the time that we did. But like, also when I kind of look at it, it makes sense to not re-sign him because our entire team essentially plays on the penalty kill. And the only thing that we would send him out for was face-offs. And if that's all you're doing at the end of the day, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah. I think it's more so we have players that are going to fill that role, probably like our guest that we just had a few minutes ago is the guy that comes to mind mostly. So yeah, I think it's more so the guys coming up are needing to play than Glendening was bad. I mean, he did his job well.
Yeah.
Very good role guy, but it's time for some fresh faces in there.
Yeah. He did exactly what we signed him to do, and he did it extremely well. I just think that now that we're trying to get more offense into this team, and we're not going to get that from Luke Glendening. He's a great fourth liner who will not let anything past him, but he's not going to score a lot of goals.
I didn't say it.
All right. Let's move on to some other stuff here. Let's talk about some award stuff. So no Dallas Stars won awards on Monday night, but tonight, Mr. Jim Nill is recognized as the GM of the year. As much crap as Stars fans give him, and as much as we wish he was not sleeping all the time, it seems like, on stuff is like, why didn't he do this trade and such? And as we can maybe be a little bit impatient with how patient he is, he absolutely deserves this award.
Well, and you look at the whole reason why he won it, it's because his patience paid off. Jason Robertson, Rope Hintz, Jake Ottinger all really came into the limelight this year. Wyatt Johnston
Logan
coming in as a rookie,
Harley.
fantastic. Harley is coming up. He played a big role in the playoffs for the Stars. We got Stankoven and Bork coming in next season, most likely. That's why he won GM of the year. He won because of his patience, and he won because of the last-minute moves he made for Domi and Dodonov. And
that's what it is for me too. I mean, Domi and Dadonov are not like, they were not the biggest targets going into the trade deadline, but they're exactly what this team needed. I mean, he put perfect spots in. The only hole he didn't fill that he really couldn't because there was no one to fill it was on defense. I mean, that was the only thing he didn't fix.
Those two trades at the end of the season were really the nail in the coffin for him being the GM of the year. I think it was more so what he has done before and what his scouts have done that really led him to that.
And it felt like we gave up nothing for those trades either. I mean, Dadonov, we literally gave up nothing for. And then we gave up a third for Domi?
I don't remember.
I think it was a second.
Second or a third, whatever.
Second or a third. It wasn't a first round pick. I know that for sure.
Wasn't a first. It should have been a first, but it wasn't.
It should have been a first, yeah. Well, let's talk about the award winners for a second. Michael Backlund gets the King Clancy Award. Obviously, Connor McDavid gets the Art Ross. But then some of the voted on awards got through here. Chris Letang, with everything that he's gone through with the loss of his father. In fact, he had some heart issues this year and came back and played, was absolutely ridiculous. He won the Bill Masterton. Connor McDavid won the Ted Lindsay Award as the best player voted by the players. And then I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about this one, the Jack Adams Award. So it was really cool to see Monty get the award as the coach of the year. And I mean, we knew he was a great coach. We absolutely knew he was a great coach, but back in December of 2019, it was just really unfortunate the way that things ended. And Jim Nill actually never disclosed why he was fired. There was obviously lots of speculation, but Monty actually flat out came out and said, yeah, I was battling with alcohol and I was doing some things I shouldn't have been doing. And that was actually one of the highlights of the entire night was his speech and how thought-provoking it was and how well he spoke when he accepted that award. So I don't know if y'all got a chance to watch his acceptance speech. Did y'all get a chance to see that?
Mm-mm.
No, but I am really happy for him regardless.
Yeah, his whole story, I mean, it seems like he took getting fired the best way possible, and I am happy for the guy. I know it kind of sucks for the Stars, but for him, the person, it was probably nothing but beneficial. I mean, you hit rock bottom, and he clawed his way back up to the top. So I'm very happy for him.
Moving on, big surprise. Erik Carlson wins the Norris Trophy as the first defenseman in a long time to reach 100 points. We'll talk about Erik Carlson more here in a second. Kopitar wins the Lady Byng, and then let's stop here at the Calder Trophy for a second. Matty Beniers wins it by, no surprise to anybody, but Wyatt Johnston did end up getting some votes, and I believe he ended up 5th. I don't know how to look at that and to be like upset about that or just be like, whatever, I don't care.
I'm honestly whatever about the awards in general, just because, I mean,
We're
Stars aren't going to win them unless they are.
That's true. Nobody pays attention.
Stars players are not going to win it unless they're like above and beyond.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. They have to have the most points and they have to look like they're absolutely insane.
Yeah. I mean, Wyatt Johnston has, what did he end up tied for the most goals by a rookie?
On the third line. He played on the third
line. Imagine if he was playing on the top line.
Yeah, and was very good defensively all season long. I mean, come on. That's not real. I mean, same with, I'm sure we're going to talk about Miro, but same there.
Yep. Actually, I kind of skipped over that, didn't I? Miro Heiskanen ended up getting 5th as well, I believe, in the North. No, he got 7th.
He got 7th.
7th. Yeah. He was 7th in the voting. And there was one person of the Professional Hockey Writers Association who put him as first. So again, I think it's just a.
I'll take one.
Yeah, we got one.
I want more, but we got one.
Yeah.
Saudi Youssef said, now everybody can go and follow that guy and thank him. And he got I think 300 follows that day or something. That was quite a few. Well, moving on from that, this one was interesting for me because there was actually several Dallas Stars on this list. The Silky Trophy. Of course, no surprise, Bergeron wins the trophy again. It should just be renamed the Bergeron Trophy, if I can talk. But on this list, Rope Hintz shows up on this list. So does Joe Pavelski, and so does Jamie Benn. Actually, a little surprisingly there. But is that kind of like a way you can look at that trophy and then say people are noticing that the Stars are a very good two-way team? I mean, I think that's fair to say.
I think it's just because the Stars do have lots of good two-way centers, especially. I mean, you look at Hintz and Johnston. I mean, those are two of the best, I think. And then even Foxa, if you're looking at just defensive forwards, Fox is one of the best defensive forwards. I may not like him for his offensive production, but there's no doubt that he's one of the best defensive forwards in the league.
Well, and especially with that, with Foxa, he actually showed up on a list on Twitter as some of the top 10 defensive centers. I forgot what it was on. I think it was on Andy and Rono or something like that on Twitter. And it's not like he was number 10. He was number 4 or 5, if I remember correctly. So
he just doesn't score at all is the problem.
Yeah, but that's okay. He doesn't need to. He's a fourth line center.
Okay.
And I think he's still, didn't he get to double digits in goals this year? I think he had 10.
I think he had like 2 assists though.
He had 11 and 9 assists.
He had more than
20 points.
Oh, that's
20 points as a fourth liner. I'll take it.
That doesn't include playoffs. He had a goal and 2 assists in playoffs.
Dang, Fox is better.
Is Fox worth the $3.25 million?
Sure. You know what? Whatever.
Yes.
Season's over. Fox is the best.
Chris came back from Germany and gave up.
You know what? Put Fox on the first line. Fox should be playing with Ben and Sagan again. Let's try that again.
And make that the first line. Screw this whole Robertson, Hintz, Pavelski thing. Let's make that our first line.
Yeah, unsustainable.
And to kind of finish up the trophies, Linus Ullmark gets the Vezina, Connor McDavid gets the Hart. Actually, I was actually a little bit surprised about the Hart Trophy voting here, guys. Jason Robertson, he's making a name for himself across the league. He ends up 4th, just below Matthew Tkachuk and David Pastrnak. That's pretty good. That's not bad.
Not really surprising at all. When you look at his numbers, he's on one of the better teams in the league, and he leads the team by an astronomical amount. It was not
30 points.
It was 30
Nobody
points.
was close to him on the team. So he absolutely is the most valuable player to the Dallas Stars.
Especially early in the season. He was lighting everyone up.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Ardell. I missed that. Ottinger was 5th in Vezina. We need to talk about that too. His season was kind of up and down, and I would argue that he played too much.
Absolutely.
I think he played too much, and that goes with Wedgwood being hurt. He's got to stay healthy. Wedgwood is so key to next season. I'm telling you, he is so key, and I think a lot of people are kind of discounting that part of the backup role. He's going to be very important next season and to the success of the Stars in the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a learned lesson for both Ottinger and for Pete DeBoer, because especially in the playoffs, you could see there was nothing left in the tank. He was done. So maybe some more conditioning for Ottinger, definitely smarter uses of when we're going to play him. And even if we don't have Wedgwood, you can't ride him as hard as we did. I know we were going for the division title, and that is important for the Stars and for the winning culture of the Stars, but man, that it was not a good long run play.
Well, he was also hurt in the playoffs too. There was something nagging
and
him. I don't know what it was.
We also talked about like him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. He was officially hurt in the playoffs. Don't know specifically what it was, but he was hurt. And but going back to just his regular season, his stats were better this year. like he played 20 more games almost. It was under. It's like 15.
It was a true number 1.
14 more games. But he had a 0.005% better save percentage. His goals against average was better as well, and his games went up. Everything went up on his stat sheet. And so his playoffs were atrocious, but
because he was hurt and overplayed.
Yeah.
Or overplayed and then hurt, I guess, depending on the way you want to look at
it. One way or the other, it happened.
I know he played over 60 games this season. So, I mean, even if you cut that down by 7 games, I think that helps out tremendously going forward. Like more than I think people realize.
Especially just playing down the stretch too, though. I mean, I thought for sure that we were gonna rest him going into the last 10 games, and we rid him the entire time. I thought we were gonna have like 5 games Otter, 5 games Wedgwood in the last 10, and he played all of them.
And that's because of the race to the division title, and I do think that's important. But man, I mean, even looking back, it's hard to see. It's hard to make that decision, even looking backwards, in my opinion. I think it is very important. I think it's more important than y'all thought it was, and I have argued that before. But yeah, that's just such a hard decision to make, especially when you have Wedgwood, who was questionable at best.
All right, and I know there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we're not talking about yet, but I wanted to mention one more thing, and then we'll do a Who Cares segment. I've already come up with the Who Cares segment, guys. But
yeah, last month, right?
Yeah, last month. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I want to get into an article that was written by David Castillo of D Magazine. It was really, really interesting. And it actually got me to the point that I was just like, you know, we really need to have him come on the show sometimes. So I reached out to him. We're working on a time for him to come. But really what I wanted him to come on for is he thinks that there's a possibility that the Stars could trade for Erik Carlson, and that would be the big ticket that would put us over the edge and make us a true Stanley Cup contending team and not just a really, really good playoff team and, you know, making it to the conference finals. Like that would like fully solidify us on our blue line, which we have talked about. The blue line, it was the weakness for us in the playoffs. So what I wanted to get into is, first off, before I even get into the trade proposal that one of his buddies kind of puts forward, what do y'all think about, like, take all the contract stuff out of it, take all the issues out of it? Would Erik Carlson be a good fit for this team, and why or why not? And then we'll get into some of the cap stuff.
I mean, a guy who scores 100 points obviously is going to make your team better. So without cap stuff, absolutely. With cap stuff, I don't really like the idea of it. I mean, you already have the guy who's your obvious number 1 defenseman in Miro Heiskanen. You would be taking away first power play pairing for him most likely, unless you played 2 defensemen, which I don't think would be a great idea. He's definitely not great defensively, is the best way to put it, and a defensive liability at his worst. So not so certain about that when our biggest problem with the defense isn't necessarily the puck handling, it's more so how solid they are on defense. So not so sure about that. But if you're asking without, sure, he's a great player. He would definitely help the Stars. But I don't think that's the kind of defenseman we really need.
I just want someone to play with Miro. I don't care. Please, stop playing him on his offside. I mean, we know he's still better on his strong side. It's frustrating me.
My argument is do we already have that guy in Nils Lindquist? And
but it's not ready yet. It's the problem.
Exactly.
That's where we're getting.
Here's the question.
We might have him. We don't know.
Yeah. So here's the question. This is like, if you're Jim Nill and you want to win right now, like you are going all in to win the cup right now, this year or the next year, you make that trade for Erik Carlson. Now, if you think that we're close, which obviously we are close because we were the last team not in the Stanley Cup Finals out, then maybe you lean back and let Nils Lundqvist develop So that's the argument that you go into. If you make that trade for Erik Carlson, you're signifying to your team, this is it. We're going all in. So that's my thought.
The pieces that you get, you're not just giving up future pieces. I mean, you're not going to get to trade him for a couple of draft picks and some prospects not named Stankoven and Bork. So the price tag on that does not make sense. His cap hit does not make sense. I don't know. I don't like that.
What do you think, James?
It'd be fun if he didn't cost $9 million. Or I guess his cap hit right now is like what, 10.5? His cap hit's 10.5 right now, I think.
It's 11.5.
Yeah, it's 11.
Oh, it's 11.5. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah,
so he's getting paid to score 100 points for sure. He's doing his job.
But what's the likelihood that he does that again? I mean,
what's the likelihood that he does that on a good team?
See, and that was my argument. That was my argument to David Castillo on Twitter, and he pushed back on me, and it was really interesting. So I think it'd be interesting to have him come on and kind of, talk us into why we should make the trade for Erik Carlson. Well, here's what one of his buddies put forward. His name is Dmitry Filipovic. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry, Dmitry, if I butchered that. But Dallas would receive Erik Carlson at $10 million, and San Jose would retain $1.5 million. So again, he would immediately be the highest paid player on the Dallas Stars, just even with 1.5 retained. San Jose would get from the Stars, they would get Mason Marchment, Colin Miller, Nils Lindquist, a 2023 second round pick, which I guess they'd have to make that trade tonight or before the draft tomorrow to make that work. And then a 2024 first round pick, and then one of our prospects, Martineau or Stranges. So that would be us giving up three roster players currently, two picks, and a prospect for one guy who is 33 years old at $10 million, and he's probably not going to make that 100-point plateau again.
I mean, the only way that makes sense is if the Sharks retain 50%. In my eyes, that's the only way that it makes sense to me. Because otherwise, it's like it just looks bad. It looks like an awful trade. But
that is a lot of assets to give up.
Well, even that doesn't make sense because of the way that Jim Nill has built the Stars, and he's done great with it. Is he's built them to be good for a long time. They should make the playoffs for the next 10 years with how they're built right now. With how many prospects they have coming up, how many good players they have right now.
As long as someone doesn't come in and
trade the contracts we have already signed. Right. Yeah, so why are we trying to trade that all away for a guy that we know is very hot and cold too? I mean, he scored 100-point seasons and then he's gone and laid eggs and just been a bad defenseman. So he's very fluky. He also, isn't it strange he scores these 100-point crazy seasons on teams that have no chance of making the playoffs? That's the only time he's done it.
That is crazy, Chris. I agree with you.
Well, is there a time? He did it with Ottawa back in the day when he won 2 Norris trophies then. But they weren't 100-point seasons. But they were good. I think it was 20. I believe it was the 2017 playoffs. They actually made it to the Eastern Conference Final, if I remember correctly. It was 16, 17, or 18. One of those 3 years, and then they've been dog crap ever since. But your point is valid. Your point is 100% valid in what you're saying, though, is that he was on a bad team who didn't really have a whole bunch of offense. And the only reason why he was able to score 100 points is also because they traded Brent Burns away. So, I mean, he's not going to get the same opportunities with Miro Heiskanen here. He's just not. He absolutely would probably play with Miro Heiskanen if we traded for him. But I just thought this was a fun hypothetical. This is not going to happen. There's no way that would happen. Jim Nill is a lot smarter than that, and we've shown that he's shown that he would never make a trade like this. So that's
it might happen though. Alex DeBrincat.
Maybe. I've heard the rumors out there. I just think he's on his way to Detroit, honestly.
It does feel like it, but I mean, with Dallas's name in there so early, got a question. I think it's too late now that the draft has started, but
I agree. But we were also connected to Carlson a long time ago. Remember?
Yep.
Before he got traded to San Jose, we were
my
connected
worst
to
take
him.
of all time was to trade Miro Heiskanen for him.
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness!
I'd be so
I can't
upset
even
at you
imagine
right
if
now,
he had
Chris.
actually done that.
That's why I'm not a GM.
All right. Let's get to our Who Cares segment. Well, we didn't get a chance to actually acknowledge you, Chris, but Chris, you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah,
Hello.
lots of people saying nice things about you earlier.
Guten
Yes.
Abend.
And saying that, like, since you weren't here, you weren't able to contain my bad takes.
There you go.
So
the balance has been restored.
This was the nicest one.
Yeah.
Aww,
So
Eden. Chris, my 8-year-old is so excited you are back. The brothers are all together again.
Hi, Eden's
Yes.
8-year-old.
Yes. He will love that, I'm sure. But in honor of Chris returning back from Germany, we are doing a Who Cares segment of our top 3 countries. Our top 3 countries. And you can give stupid reasons for it. You can give amazing reasons for it.
Right? Every reason is a
Whatever.
good reason.
There's
All reasons
never
are good reasons.
there are
no
there
dumb
are
questions. There are only dumb answers.
Now that
There
is not
are
true.
only
There
dumb
are
answers.
dumb questions. There are dumb questions, Christian Avery. As a teacher, I know that. Trust me. Okay. So, anyways, who wants to go first? Am I going first?
I'll go first.
Okay, Chris, you're number 3.
Number 3, Iceland. I mean, they got black sand beaches. They got beaches that try and kill you with massive hunks of ice. Northern lights. They got lava fields. Look up Icelandic elves. Craziest thing you're ever going to read. It's an insane Wikipedia page. It's lovely. It can entertain you for at least 5 minutes. Iceland, number 3.
Okay, my number 3. I'm going with the bigger island, Australia. It's a whole continent. They got a whole continent to themselves. That's cool.
Yeah, but James,
They
you're going to
also
go
got
there and die.
kangaroos. Yeah, but they have kangaroos. Kangaroos
They've
They
got
do have
so many-
kangaroos. You know what else they have?
Koalas.
Bongos.
They do.
Oh, yeah, that's
Have y'all
true.
seen
And
a bongo?
Didgeridoos?
Didgeridoos?
There
They
you
got
go.
some cool stuff over there.
I will never go to Australia. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
too terrified of
I
the
agree,
amount of things that
actually.
can kill me.
So much deadly nature.
Okay, my number 3 is, and I've never been to it, and I've gotten so close to it. I really want to go so badly. It's Canada. I want to go to Canada. I want to visit the Hockey Hall of Fame. I've seen so many pictures, especially up in the Rockies, I think it might be Alberta. In Alberta, that it just looks absolutely beautiful. And if
It's cold up
Canada
there, though.
is, I'm gonna go during the summer. In the summer, it's fine. But if it's anything like I saw at Glacier National Park in Montana, which is literally
that was
just over
awesome.
the border from Canada, it was incredibly beautiful. So that's my number 3.
All I can
Canada.
say, Logan's getting out of there for a reason. So
It has nothing to do with the fact that, he got drafted by a team that's in the United States.
all right. My number 2, the country that Logan's coming to, the US of A. What a great country. I love it here. It's very good. Our food here, very good. Cars, I like cars. I miss cars a lot. Public transportation, sure, it's good sometimes. But man, when your train's delayed and you have no idea why, that sucks. Love America. I missed America. America's my baby.
Oh, do you want to tell people about what you did for Casey's wedding? You should tell that story real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. So,
Yeah, do it real
as
quick.
y'all know, I was in Germany for a month. During that time, our younger sister, Cassandra, decided that was a good time to get married. So, okay, sure. Luckily, she decided to get married on a weekend that I had off, so that was good. But what ended up happening is I ended up flying from Germany all the way to America, stayed there for 24 hours, and then flew back for class on Monday. When
I don't even think you were here for 24 hours.
I was about to say, I don't think you were here
I'm
for
pretty sure
24
you were
hours. I
here
think it
for
was
less
20.
than 24 hours.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. So anyway, the funniest part, not 13 hours. It's about 9 one way, 10 the other way, for the flight.
Oh, that's so much better.
Yeah, exactly. You also have to include the train rides though to get to the international airports in Frankfurt. I was up in Cologne, so yeah, there you go. Now it's 13. But the funniest part of this whole story was when I was getting back into Germany, the border security guard looked at my passport and he went, "Huh?" And then he was like, "You were in Frankfurt 2 days ago?" I was like, "Yeah, it's for my sister's wedding. The plane ride sucked." And then him and the guy next to him just started laughing at me. And then he stamped my passport and he let me go.
He didn't even ask any more questions.
Nope, he was done. He was like, "Yeah,
That's all
sure."
he needed to know.
What a stupid American.
Oh, man. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. James, your number second.
My number second is the Philippines because they got a bunch of islands. They got all of them. So Australia is one big island, but the Philippines have a bunch of islands. That's like 12 times better.
That is. That's undeniable.
That's all I got. I don't know anything else about the Philippines.
My number second is I guess it's a country. The UK. Is the UK a country or is it like a United Kingdom?
The UK would be a country, yes.
Well, I guess, or Britain specifically. I guess you can call it Britain. Either way.
It's just the island on the right. So be more specific. Are you including Northern Ireland? Are we excluding Northern Ireland? What's going on here?
I don't care. I don't care. Like England.
That area.
There you go. England's for sure.
England. There you go. Okay, England. I've been 3 times, and I've been very lucky to go 3 times. And yes, I don't agree with all the politics and stuff there, but it is a lot of fun to go there and visit. There's so much stuff to do. They've got the, especially if you're in London for a while, you can go to the Tower of London, you go to the British Museum and see the Rosetta Stone. They've got Westminster Abbey. You can take a train out to Windsor, excuse me, and go to Windsor Castle. I did like a Harry Potter tour and got to go around to different places around England and see where they filmed stuff. It was so cool. So that's just my number second, just for that reason, just because I enjoy visiting there.
All right. And now here for objectively the best country that has ever existed in the history of man. This is a country that probably most y'all probably won't even think of it. It's not going to be on any of y'all's lists, but this is truly the best country in the world, and it is Texas. Texas is the best country ever. Undeniable. Love every minute of it. The culture, the food, the Whataburger, the HEBs, the state fair, the cows, the fields, the big trucks. Love the trucks. I mean, Buc-ee's. There you go. Is another one.
Buc-ee's is an experience. It's not a gas
Pepper,
station.
Bluebell.
Dr. Pepper, Bluebell. Oh my goodness. Texas is the best country in the world. Everyone else can go eat a bag of burnt beaver nuggets.
That's oddly specific, Chris.
Okay, my number first. It's Italy. They got pizza. They got pasta. There's good cheese there. They have Rome. But the best part, it's shaped like a boot. How can you not like that country? Boot. That's it. Boot.
That's a good one.
Shows all my things based off how the country looks.
I do want to go to Italy.
I want to go to Italy as well.
I was like the only place I didn't get to go to that I really wanted to go to in Europe. So sad.
Did you get to go to France?
Oh yeah, I went to France.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw pictures.
Went to the Netherlands, Belgium.
His phone died in France.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Yeah, you mentioned that. Well,
my phone died in France, and then the one buddy I was with almost got his phone stolen. So we were almost in a real pickle.
That would have been bad.
For me, this is the obvious, real answer to the question. Chris, yours is close, but it's got to be America. America is the greatest country in the world because of our freedom, our fast food, and our sports, and our entertainment.
The sports is great.
Yes.
Oh, one thing about Germany, there's no German music. They all listen to our music.
But you say that, but that's normal. Like a good chunk of the world, a lot of them listen to American entertainment when it comes to music and TV shows and stuff like
Makes
that.
no sense. Make your own
Very
entertainment.
interesting. Any other German questions? Anyone have a question about Germany?
Can you speak the language now that you've been there for a month?
Ich bin Chris. Guten
Your name is-
Abend. Mir ist warm.
That ain't much, but it's at least something.
Ooh, genau. Genau is my favorite word.
Genau.
Genau.
Oh,
All right.
You were talking to me about the highways there. You said that they weren't as good as the ones that we had here.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much traffic.
That's it.
That's it.
I was expecting a story or something.
I mean, the drivers there are better. Like, they don't cut people off and everything. But we were on our way to the Netherlands via the Autobahn, and we just weren't moving. It just stopped. So that was cool.
Probably wasted a lot of your time.
Yeah, it did. We got to the place like 2 hours late. So
Oh my goodness.
fun.
Well,
Oh,
at least you got to
that's
go
great.
though.
We did get to go, but I got to sit on a bus for 2 more hours too. Love that.
All right, guys. It's an hour and 8 minutes. It's a Wednesday night. I'm actually driving to Dallas tomorrow. I got to pick up some props in
Me too.
Mansfield. So, yeah, I'm
Wait,
taking
am
the
I-
L there, James. So, all right. Anything else?
I don't think so. Great episode. Thanks again, Logan. Love that guy. Can't wait for him to play for the Stars. It'll be this year. He was being coy.
We're all really rooting for him. I say I'm really rooting for him. There's so many people that are rooting for him. He seems like such a genuine person, and seriously, everything about him. And he's going to be a good representative of this organization. He's got great skill. We're just really excited, and we hope he makes the team. But anyways, go and check out sarcasticremarks.com, our website. Check out sarcasticremarksshop.com for all the latest merch options as well. It's the best way to support us and what we do here. And if you've liked anything you've heard here today, please consider leaving a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. Click like, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Follow us on social media, all of that jazz. Thanks once again to Logan. Thanks again to DraftKings Sportsbook, our sponsor. Along with Chris and along with James, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side, and we hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. Special episode on Saturday with a couple of special guests doing a post-draft mix-up and looking at the players that we got. So we're looking forward to that. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.